Have you ever been shopping in a store or online and you see some game that you've never seen before and you're like, dude, that looks like it's gonna be a freaking rare game one day. I need to buy it now while it's cheap, before it gets more expensive later. Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly, and here are 10 games that I bought because I just knew that they were gonna be rare and expensive one day. Was I right? Was I wrong? I don't even know. All I know is how much I paid for these way back when I picked them up. I'll be looking up the prices as I'm filming this video. So let's see how I did. Around the time GameStop was clearing out their Xbox 360 and PS3 and Wii stuff, I made a list of all the games that I was looking for on those systems that I was never able to find. This is one of those games, and it took me months to find it, and even when I went online to look on GameStop's website, you couldn't really find any copies of it. Now, why didn't I just buy it on eBay? Well, the price was already high on eBay, but GameStop had it listed at a really low price. So I wanted to make sure I got it there, and I ended up picking it up at a GameStop like 50 miles away from where I live. And that game is Blades of Time. And with tax, I paid $4.92 for this. This is the sequel to another kind of obscure game on the Xbox 360 called X-Blades, where you play as this. It's not even really a sequel, it's like almost a remake, pseudo-sequel. You play as this sexy girl, you running around and hack and slash, I think. I don't know, I've never actually played this game, but I did play X-Blades, and I thought it was okay. The part that stands out in my mind more than any other is the cute girl, which I think is what they were going for. But this one was really hard to find, and I know it's worth more on the PS3, but I'm hoping it gained a little bit of value on the Xbox 360. So, how much is this worth? Let me check. It's worth $18. So, that's not too bad. Not an expensive game, but more than 3 times what I paid for it. Maybe it's worth it. Maybe it'll keep going up. I wonder how much the PS3 version's worth. It's probably like $70 or something crazy. Anyway, glad to have this one. Hopefully I'll get to play it soon. This next one is a notorious game, maybe one of the most notorious games ever made. I only knew about it from the AVGN video where he covered it. I was at a country store out in the middle of nowhere. I've told this story multiple times, but they had this game. I made them an offer on it. I did not really know how much it was worth. The price I offered seemed good compared to what they were asking, and I didn't really have access to the internet on my phone. This was still like before 4G was a thing. I paid $154.46, and that game is Action 52 on the NES. I did play all 52 of these games with Bucky one night, and it's a terrible game, but we had like a 10 out of 10 amount of fun playing it. We had a really good time with it, so I'm fond of Action 52. AVGN really put a spike on this game. I bet before he did his video, this was like a $5 game. I mean, it was like $200 when it was new, right? Wasn't that the claim to fame? Like, you're getting 52 games and it's more expensive, but each game is a lot cheaper? Anyway, let's look and see how much it is. According to eBay's sold listings, Action 52 on the NES, loose, goes for about $300. So, I doubled up on that. That's a good one. I'm ahead. Action 52 really is fun though, guys. If you haven't tried it, boot up an emulator. Give it a shot. I wouldn't recommend going out and getting it, unless you're just a crazy hardcore collector like I am. But I don't regret picking it up. I feel like I got $150 worth of fun out of it. $300? That's a different story altogether. If you're enjoying the content and you haven't already, consider subscribing to my channel. There are new videos every single Saturday. We stream every single Sunday. Click that bell notification so you know when the new videos come out. Give me a thumbs up. That's the best way to help me with the YouTube algorithm, and also leave a comment. I'll answer it. Okay, this next one I think might be one of the rarest games I own. This is a port of 2 arcade games. They put them out on PS3 and Xbox 360 as downloadable titles. However, there was a version in Japan of one of these games that had some changes that don't exist anywhere else in any other version of the game. They're not on the arcade, they're not on the online version, they're not anywhere else, and they were pressed to a physical disc. Then they were delisted online. So the only way to play this version of one of these games is on this compilation. and I still have it sealed. And it's the Dungeons & Dragons Shadow of Mystara and Tower of Doom combo. Like I said, these are beloved games, but I think one of these has like a stage or an extra character or something that's only on this physical disc. It's the only way to get it. How much did I pay for this? I paid $0 for it. I used credit card reward points to pick it up, but its price was actually $40. Maybe I could use those credit card reward points on something else. We'll count it as 40 bucks. So I have played the arcade back in the day. This is in the backlog. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get to it. I really can't open it. Maybe somebody's ripped it. I can play it on an emulator. I don't know, we'll see. But more importantly, how much is it worth? Let me check. Well, this puts me in quite a predicament. There are no sold listings of this game on eBay. There's some loose copies that sold for like between $70 and $99. And there is a sealed copy of this up for sale right now on eBay for $179.99. So 180 bucks. I'll say it's worth somewhere between the loose copy and the copy up for sale, but I don't really know. I'm just gonna say it's worth probably about $150. That feels right. I could not find a sealed copy of this for sale anywhere. Checked Mercari, checked PlayAsia, checked Amazon UK, nothing. I don't know what to do. 150 bucks. We'll go with that. If you think I'm wrong, let me know, but how are you going to prove me wrong? You probably bought a copy of it for like $6 from some website, I don't know. I said that last game may be the rarest game or one of the rarest games I own, but this one might actually be like one of the rarest games I own. I'm a huge fan of Ed McMillan, who did The Binding of Isaac and Super Meat Boy. And before he did those games, he did a bunch of indie Flash PC games. Some company compiled all of those together. They put them on a physical disc and they only released it in Germany. It's bundled with the Blu-ray of Indie Game the movie. Maybe in German, I don't know. I still have it sealed, but it's the Basement Collection. This has the original Meat Boy on it, like that came out before Super Meat Boy, and a whole bunch of interesting games that Ed McMillan made. I'm fascinated with this. It has unlockables. This is like preserving some history to me. So thankful to have this. You can pick this up on Steam for just a few bucks. But the physical copy, if you didn't order it from Germany when it came out, I don't know how you're gonna get it. I paid $16 for it shipped from Europe. I don't remember where I got it from, but I made a note that I paid 16 bucks for it. How much is it worth? Once again, we don't flippin' know. There are no sold listings of this sealed. None. There are a couple of sold listings of it open. It doesn't even say if it's in the box. It's using like stock photos. But those both sold for around $30. So, I don't know. How much is a sealed game usually over an open game? Usually not quite double, in my opinion. It's usually about like 70% more. So we'll just say this is worth 50 bucks. So that's pretty good. I know I'm guessing on some of these, but like, when you get to these like rare games, you don't know what the value is. There's no way to track it. There are no eBay sold listings. I can't find it anywhere. That's my best guess, guys. Sorry. This one I know we'll be able to look up because it's a famous game. I think this is from like the creator of Resident Evil 4 or the director or somebody involved with Resident Evil did something with this. And this is a third-person action shooter, but it's actually a rhythm game. And people freaking hate this game, including me. I thought this was going to be awesome. I like Resident Evil. I like third-person action games. I like third-person shooters. And I like cute girls. What's there not to like about this? Well, a lot, for one, because it's not a very good game. And it's product number 3, or PN03 as everyone calls it. You can see the gameplay footage of this below and what it's like, and it looks like it'd be a lot of fun. The main character, she's very snarky and sassy and really not that likable. The gameplay's really boring and kind of tedious. It's just corridor after corridor. And I know you're supposed to get into the rhythm of like dodging and dashing and moving around with all the dance moves she does and stuff, but like just people don't get into the rhythm of it. It just doesn't feel like it needs to be a rhythm game. You can have a lot of style and kind of like a dancing feel to a game without having to make it a freaking rhythm game. Bayonetta does it. All the Bayonetta games feel like that. If this had been more like that, I think it would have been a huge hit, but it kind of flopped. When I first started looking for this game, it was about a $10 game. And I just never saw it, and never saw it, and never saw it, and never saw it. And finally, popped into a store, and there it was. For 10 bucks. With tax, I paid $11. So how much is it worth now? It goes for 50 bucks all day. Lots of copies of it sold on eBay, thankfully. This game is not worth that kind of money. It's only that high because it's a GameCube game, and the GameCube's really hot right now. If this had been on the PlayStation 2, I mean, we're talking like a $20 game. It's not that rare. It's not that good. It's not that interesting. It's not really a hidden gem. It's just kind of like a GameCube game. I have said in the past that my dream game, if they were to ever make it, would be an RPG mixed with a shoot 'em up. Now, I don't know how that's gonna work, but it turns out that that game actually already exists. And I didn't know that till I saw this in a game store and I picked it up and read the back of it. It's an over-the-head, old-school 16-bit style RPG, but the combat encounters are short little shoot 'em up levels. I played it. It's not that great. Maybe my idea was wrong. Maybe it just doesn't work. But it's Sigma Star Saga. And this is done by Way Forward, the same people that do Shantae. It's a weird premise. You play this over-the-top RPG, and as you get into combat, like there are these robotic spaceships up in space, and your character's mind is like teleported into a random spaceship to fight off aliens. So you just be like walking around doing your business. Imagine if you're walking around, you're on your way to pick up donuts in the morning on your way to the office, and your brain got teleported up into one of the government's mini spaceships floating around Earth, and you had to spend the next 5 minutes fighting off squid monsters. That's what this game is. And then like when you're done, it just teleports your brain back down to your body, and you're laying on the sidewalk with the friggin' donuts and coffee spilled all over you where you collapsed. Yeah, I didn't think it was that great. I wanted to love it, but I just kind of didn't. I paid 15 bucks for this game. I know it's gonna be worth more than that. There's no way that a complete in box Game Boy Advance game done by Way Forward is less than $15. But let's check. It's worth $85. That feels pretty good. That seems even cheap for like a complete in box Game Boy Advance game. I don't know, I don't have a lot of Game Boy Advance games that are complete in box. I don't have a lot of Game Boy Advance games anyway, although I do like the system. But that's cool, man. That's cool, I was right about that one. And that someone made the game of my dreams and my dreams were wrong. When Xenoblade Chronicles first came out, it was almost impossible to find, and it ballooned up to several $100s before getting a reprint. Then Xenoblade Chronicles X came out on the Wii U. It never came out anywhere else. I picked up the collector's edition and it just ballooned and ballooned and ballooned up in price. So of course, I bought the collector's edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and it just went up and up and up and up in price. So when I found out that the expansion and the DLC to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was coming out physically on the Switch, I knew I had to pick it up, and I could not find it anywhere. I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and it took me about a year till I located it, and I had to buy it on eBay. And it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna, the Golden Country. Okay, fine. I have not played this, but I did play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I didn't really like it. I didn't like the main character, I didn't like the story, I got frustrated with those little furry pond creatures. I don't like them, man. I don't want to do that. Did a whole video about how I didn't like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 with Emily from Orbalology. But I paid $44.49 for this, and like I said, I had to buy it offline. So how much is it worth now? Okay, all right, I lost on this one. It's only worth 36 bucks. It must have gotten a reprint somewhere because it was like ballooning up a lot. I think this was 30 when it was new, or 35, so I only paid a little bit over retail, so it looks like it's still going for just retail price right now. That's kind of a bummer, but I'm still ahead. I know I'm still ahead. I hope this one's good. I loved the first Xenoblade Chronicles, but like all the ones I played since then, I've just been kind of like meh to me. So, I don't know, maybe this one will change my opinion and tilt the Xenoblade Chronicles back in my good graces. 2 years ago, I was on my way to the Southeast Game Exchange, and I was watching a video in the car on the way there, and somebody, I can't remember who, mentioned that this NES game was a hidden gem. So my goal at the convention was to find a copy of this game before it was going to shoot up in freaking price, like they always do after some YouTuber mentions that it's a hidden gem. And that game is Kickle Cubicle. Now it says $70 right there, but I did not pay $70 for it. I paid $40 for it. It's done by Irem, and this is a My copy is a partial seal. It still has the cellophane on it. They just sliced it across the top. But it's just a puzzle game. I don't really know how it works. I haven't played it. It looks good. It's obviously a hidden gem. There have been so many times where I had a game on my wish list that I really wanted to get, and then some influencer mentions it and it like doubles in price. So I was panicking about this one. I was seeing loose copies of the game everywhere for $30. So when I offered $40 on a almost partial sealed complete in box version of it and they said yes, I was excited to get it. I don't have any idea how much it goes for now. So let's check. Well, the game is actually down from where it was when the YouTuber mentioned it. This is only worth $55 complete in box. If I paid the $70 for it, I would have lost money. But $40, I didn't lose money. The game just didn't appreciate like I expected it to. I thought it would be well over $100, but it didn't get up there. Maybe the gameplay is just not that good. Or maybe all these hidden gems we hear about are like the bottom of the barrel hidden gems, like 6 out of 10 kind of games. And people try them out and they're like, this isn't really a hidden gem. There have been a few of those I've tried that I've bought on recommendations of other YouTubers because they're like, this is a hidden gem. And I was like, this game's not good, dude. You just mentioned that because you're running out of games to talk about. Hopefully that doesn't happen to me. I mentioned this one recently in my PS2 collection video. I saw this once again at the Southeast Game Exchange. I had never heard of it before, but it was by a publisher, and when you see their name, you know it's going to be an uncommon game. That publisher is Atlas, and the game is Choro Q on the PlayStation 2. It says it's a freaking RPG racing game done by Atlas. How could you lose, man? I paid $15 for it. 15 bucks. Maybe just nobody knew about this. Maybe it's so rare and obscure that the people couldn't find the price. So they just put 15 bucks on it. But I've been curious ever since I picked it up how much this is actually worth. I haven't played it yet, but I'm actually really interested in this now. If you've played it, let me know. Is it any good? Does it suck? Is there a reason I only had to pay $15 for it? Is it worth $300 and I got the deal of the century? I don't know. Let's look it up. Well, it's worth $15. It's worth exactly what I paid for it. You can go buy it all over eBay, everywhere for 15 bucks right now. So if it looks interesting to you like it does to me, go ahead and grab it. You can't lose with $15. I'm really surprised by that. Like a niche RPG. Like RPGs do well. Racing games don't. But like an RPG racing game, that seems niche enough to make it kind of like something sought after. And the fact that Atlas did it, it's not a common game. It's got to be at least uncommon. At 15 bucks, that seems like a good deal. I wouldn't be surprised if the value of this goes up later, but it hasn't yet. I had heard about these games on the PlayStation 2 back when they came on the PlayStation 2. I never played them, but people for years told me I needed to play them. And I knew they were getting remastered on the PS3. And I walked into a GameStop one day and I saw the collector's edition of them. And I was like, I gotta get that. That looks freaking awesome. And for many years, I've had this displayed on my shelf because it looks so cool. And it's the Zone of the Enders HD collection. I mean, that's a gorgeous box with the big mech. But the Zone of the Enders games are mech combat games, and I think they're done by Hideo Kojima that does Metal Gear Solid. Am I right about that? I think I am. The first one I really enjoyed and I platinumed it. I got all the trophies on it. And then the second one I beat it, but I didn't get the platinum on it. I played them back to back. This is before I was doing the random gaming thing. But I thought they were both really good, although I thought the second one was not as good as the first. And most people would disagree with me about that. They like the second one better, but I don't know. I didn't feel that way about it. Anyway, I paid $60 for this. That's how much it was new. Back then, games were 50 bucks new. So a collector's edition for only $10 more, not too bad. Now, I do know this about Hideo Kojima games. People love them, but they are printed to death, and very rarely do they get expensive. I bet almost every Hideo Kojima game that he ever put out, other than the ones on like the MSX computer, and like Police Knots and Snatcher, are like less than $20 games. So I'm a little worried about this. Let's look up and see how much it's worth. Unsurprisingly, this collector's edition open is only worth 30 bucks. So I lost half the value of it. Man, and with inflation, it's probably like the whole thing. $60 back when I bought this is a lot more than $60 now. So that's surprising. I wasn't expecting it to be that low. I thought it would be probably right around $60. I thought it would have maintained because it looks so cool. It's a great display piece, but it's not the way it worked out. You can grab this right now all day for 29, 30 bucks. Buy it now on eBay with free shipping. So go grab that if you haven't, because it's worth it to play the games. Well, anyway, guys, there are 10 more games that I just knew were going to be rare and valuable one day. I was kind of right. I don't know how I did. I haven't added it up. But here's how much I spent, and here's how much it's all worth. I'm pretty sure I'm up, but it's not like the last video where I like quadrupled my money or whatever it was. Tripled my money maybe? I don't know. Next Saturday is going to be the video about me going to the Game Central Station Shop and Swap and what I pick up at that convention. The week after that is going to be a video of the top 10 worst games I played all year. And the week after that is going to be the top 10 best games I've played all year. That'll finish off 2023 with the best games. Then we'll see what 2024 brings us. If you made it this far, guys, I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. I'd also like to use this as an opportunity to thank the channel members and Patreon supporters. You can see their names on the screen right now. If you'd like to get your name on the screen, get access to all my videos early, get access to member-only videos, leave a message in my videos, you can do that by going down to the description below and becoming a channel member or going on over to Patreon and joining there. They're the same thing. Thank you so much, guys, for all you do. I really appreciate the support. As I'm filming this video right now, it was the most successful week I've ever had on YouTube. So thank you so much for that. Glad to see we're growing, and I'm glad to see that you guys are liking the content. And I'll catch you guys next time.